Welcome to The Lion Show. I'm your host, Robert Lyon, your favorite business coach. Today we are blessed to have Ricardo here with us. He's a serial entrepreneur, really just a badass with influencers and building cool brands as well as helping entrepreneurs with like mental health stuff. And yeah, Ricardo, just why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody kind of what you're up to and what you're all about.
Yeah, sure. Hey, hello, everybody. Thanks again, Robert, for having me on here. But basically, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I deal with the fashion industry and also started a nonprofit foundation. But just recently, I have a startup in the influencer industry where we're basically empowering anyone to be able to monetize valuable exposure with a platform that connects them with advertising sponsors and agencies. So I've been doing, I don't know, everything stemmed from my apparel company. And from that's where I kind of learned about whenever you go into anything inspirational, it always tends to go towards mental health. And eventually, after talking to so many people, I learned so much that we ended up starting our own nonprofit foundation called startday1.org. And and that's what we're doing.
Nice. Well, tell me a little bit about what is it, Start Day One?
Day One is a nonprofit foundation for mental health and suicide prevention.
Nice.
We just have a more proactive approach to helping people rather than reactively waiting for mental health issues and suicidal tendencies. So society, organizations, and doctors, just as a whole, they're doing everything wrong.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to prevent anything, diabetes, obesity, it has to be proactive. You don't wait to be 500 pounds and then go to the gym.
Right.
You don't wait to get diabetes and then stop eating so much candy.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what we tell our kids. You don't say, hey, eat whatever you want. I know how to look for symptoms of diabetes, but that's what we're teaching people, how to prevent suicide or how to prevent mental health issues. Mm-hmm. And even worse than that, something I learned with entrepreneurship is that you always have to remedy the cause, not the result. Well, guess what we're doing in mental health? We're always trying to just remedy the result. But if the cause is still there, guess what keeps happening? So there's a lot of thing that they teach which I get is, great. So I consider like diet and exercise. So exercises like meditation, what do you call it? Even just exercising and just these daily habits and things like that. But if the cause is because you won't forgive your freaking dad, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to need to meditate every 5 minutes. So you got to figure out the cause and also do some exercise. So it's both diet and exercise for the mental health also. So that's kind of what Start Day One is about.
Do you have like people call in, or what does it look like for people?
Start Day One. So calling in, that's just waiting, right?
Yeah.
That's not proactive at all. So that's what everyone's doing. It's like, hey, call me when you're suicidal.
Oh, fuck.
You're an alcoholic. Like, alcoholic, that's cute. I said suicidal.
Yeah.
And, so it doesn't make sense. So first we have to look at the perspective of things, the concept. Mm-hmm. To us, my philosophy is that everything starts off with a negative perspective. That is what evolves to becoming suicidal tendencies. You start off with like, I hate Monday. Man, my girlfriend sucks. And then all of a sudden it just keeps on going and going. So it's kind of like gaining weight. Yeah, you're not considered obese here, or here, but maybe here.
Yeah.
But now it's too late. Now I'm gonna call to go to the gym? That doesn't make sense. The best time to exercise is today. Not tomorrow, not when I'm 5 pounds overweight, not 20 pounds. Like today. Well, same thing with your mental health. So what we do is things that are proactive. I do like I try to produce different content that we can distribute out there to hopefully change people's perspective. Another thing is sending speakers out to different venues, schools, colleges, rehab centers, military bases, things like that. Because guess when they call? When something happens. It's like, it's called prevention.
Yeah.
But like, oh my God, someone committed suicide. Quick, call a speaker.
Yeah.
Like, you should have done that like a while ago. So that's another aspect of what we raise money for. And then another thing is also what we're trying to do. This one we're still kind of working on is trying to figure out a way that we can provide affordability to life coaching.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best ways.
That's a way to prevent it for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so especially when you can get them, much earlier too. It's just so much easier that way.
Well, man, it sounds like you're fighting a really good fight. My dad severely bipolar, so I've dealt with mental stuff all my life, and then I was military, so I've got a lot of military friends, and then before that, I was a musician, and musicians are also all depressed and need help. So everybody needs help.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. No one is immune to this. I don't know why people think they're like immune to this. And here's what's going wrong in this world today. We've made it abnormal to become depressed. We've made it abnormal to have anxiety. Those are just emotional responses. The key word out of that, response. It's responding to something. It's not the cause, but people are making it depression is the cause. PTSD is the cause. I'm like, no, it isn't. It's because you can't let go of what you saw during the war or whatever happened.
Right.
So that's what's causing it. It's not PTSD, that's the result.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where things go wrong, because when you're blaming an invisible empty something, well, you're never going to win, ever. Guess what the best remedy for that? Pills or alcohol, drugs, because it numbs the pain. Because that's what you're talking about. You're just talking about the result. But we're not discussing the cause. Let's discuss the cause, then we'll get rid of it. But until then, all you want to do is keep the blame. And so when people are really in a bad place, we tend to hate accountability and love excuses. Not because you're messed up. When you're in that state of mind, I do it. And I don't have PTSD. Okay? Like, I just, as an entrepreneur, when I have a really bad day, it's not my fault, dude. What do you mean? It's not my fault. No way. It's because this guy and this, and the internet and this, and, the political thing right now and pandemic, like, everyone's to blame. Everyone's to blame. And so that's just a natural thing. But either way, it's a natural response, So that's kind of what I'm trying to teach out there, because if I can change your perspectives, that's actually how you get help. There's nothing anyone can do for you. You have to do everything yourself. Therapists don't give you a magic pill. You don't even, when you read books, people have gotten out of depression with books. What did you get out of the book? What did you get? Did you eat something? Did you eat the book?
Yeah.
And all it's doing is changing your perspectives. So that's really the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I think people need to be more vulnerable to talk about when they're screwed up, and then also just be more honest about, trying to get help or something like that. So that's so cool, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So, I don't know how to go from that to influencer marketing.
Easily. Well, let's talk about how it came about. How did Start Day One even happen, right? So it's actually because of my apparel brand.
Nice.
So it's called Fukitt Clothing, and how this basically what it is this. Everyone knows to live life to the fullest, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? But it's impossible. It's actually human nature to take life for granted. That's why we complain on Mondays. Traffic, weather, right? No one's immune to that. What you really need are reminders. When someone passes away, someone gets in an accident, cancer, right? All of a sudden you go, oh man, what am I doing? Complaining about the stupidest things, bills. I'd rather have my life, right? You get reminded to. No one reminds you like, yo, Robert, did you know life was short? And then you're like,
well, fuck.
Go away. Oh my God, I had no clue I should live life to the fullest. So everyone knows the concept since they were little, right?
Yeah.
And so what you really need are these reminders. So we figured, why not have a brand as a reminder? Every time you wear it, it tells you to stop complaining and live life more. So the thing is, when you get reminders, it's very temporary, right? It just kind of fades. You didn't know today's Monday again. You know what I mean? Like it's every week, you know that, right? But you keep complaining every freaking Monday. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. And I actually lost my, whenever you do anything inspirational, like I mentioned before, it goes towards mental health. We took it a step further to suicide prevention.
Yeah.
I lost my brother to suicide. And the biggest thing I learned from that was that whenever anybody, including me, gets sad or depressed, it's really all about your perspective, not your situation.
Right.
That's why rock stars are committing suicide, while the homeless are trying to stay alive. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the perspective is what you really need to fix.
Yeah.
And how we do that with the brand, even though it's pronounced Fukitt, it persuades people to say fuck it more without being offensive about it, right?
Yeah.
So this is why, here's why it's very important. Everyone, including you, dude, are exposed to motivational and inspirational content every day. How many Facebook videos do you see?
Yeah.
How many Instagram quotes do you see? How many commercials that say, just do it, do you see? Like, it's every day, dude. If that is the case, why isn't it working? We have more access to inspirational stuff and even help online and phone calls all day. Why isn't it working? They're all meaningless unless you make a decision about something.
Right.
You have to change something for something to freaking change.
Mm-hmm.
After talking to so many people, I've learned that most people are insane. They complain about things they do nothing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, people don't know it's the decision is actually what's the most important. Did you know that the only time we actually say that phrase, fuck it, is only until after we've already made a decision? Yeah, I know you're testing it, right? So the reason we say it is because we're confirming to ourselves. You don't say fuck it for someone. You're confirming to yourself that you're actually going to follow through and commit to the decision you just made. You do not ever back out. No one has ever said fuck it and backed out because the only reason it came out was because you already committed.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine playing poker, fuck it, I'm all in. Okay, maybe just half.
Yeah.
That never happens. And so that's how we kind of evolved. And then from there, when I explained to people, what the brand was about, I'll get these random emails. Hey, thank you so much. You really helped me out because we would discuss mental health, how to help them, whatever, just automatically.
Yeah, well, I'm already inspired by it, so I like it.
Oh, thanks, dude.
So that's how it builds, dude.
Yeah, the best messages that we get are the ones that say, "Hey, I was actually suicidal when I met you. Thank you for saving my life." Yeah.
Wow.
I actually just got an email just recently. I don't know why he never told me this in the beginning. There's a lot of people that don't tell me until I start talking to them.
Uh-huh.
And then he said he actually had a suicidal, like, one night. What stopped him? He saw my hat on his dresser. And he just said, he went, what am I doing? Because it encapsulates all the things that I'm mentioning to you, what it's about. Fuck it, let it go. Live life without regret. Accept the challenges that are worth the risk.
Yeah.
And so he's still here. And now he's just like so supportive and all this. And that's the stuff that we do,
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, and that's what I learned, that proactive is what's really working. And that's why I did the Start Day One, where our mission is to inspire people to change their perspectives from dreaming of one day to starting day one.
Yeah.
That means there's a day 2, day 3, day 4. People are very overwhelmed with how much they need to do or change, but really they just don't know where to start.
Yeah.
You don't start a business knowing everything about it. Like you didn't do podcasting because you'll research everything about podcasting. You got a freaking mic and started inviting people.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
That's how it works.
Yeah, you got to just put one foot in front of the other, man. Keep going.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Now that we're talking about that, a lot of people think the decision comes after the solution. Like once you figure it out, like, wait a minute, I can podcast, and then if I do this, and if I get a mic, and I get the software and this, then I'll start podcasting. Actually, you find the solutions after the decision. First, you go like, you know what? I'm going to do podcasting. Shit, what do I need? I need a mic. Well, I'm going to need to freaking get gas. Shoot. Man, it's really tough to schedule people. I guess I can use Calendly. And it keeps on going and going. That's how you find your solutions because you made this commitment, the decision to keep to do it.
Yeah, I'm more somebody who just runs head first into things and figures it out.
Exactly. And that's what's most important is the decision that comes first.
Yeah.
And so that's why we really emphasize nothing will change without that decision. We're just a product of our decision, not our environment. Yeah. And unless you make a decision, nothing will change. Yeah, things might come at you, but until you decide to accept that challenge, does it really matter?
Yeah. So what are you trying to achieve like totally with the Fukitt brand? Like where do you see it going? I guess I'd like to just hear your vision.
Basically, it just acts as that reminder.
Right.
Just by seeing it, it just reminds you to live. The mission is to inspire and motivate people to live life without regret and accept challenges worth the risk.
Wow.
That concept basically is the act of moving forward, but there's two things that prevents that. One is something is pulling you back, regrets.
Right.
And then another thing is because you just won't step forward. So the challenges were worth the risk. So that's really what we're trying to do. Like we're trying to make sure that people are in constant, People have to understand that they're in constant pursuit of happiness. Fuck it is not something you say once. It's a continuous thing. You have to keep making decisions every day, like
To be happy.